Okay, good afternoon. Not 100% sure this is going out at this point, but we have our state quarterfinal game today against South Fayette. They're the top-ranked team in the state according to our spring standings. Somehow they're seated 20th in the state, which I have no idea how that can even happen. But I think we're almost ready to go. We're switching over to the feed from the eSport company, as they are a lot more knowledgeable than me in this.
yourself. I have an open invitation, but you're telling me go get lost. I don't wanna see your face. Yeah, what the hell? So why don't we stay out till the morning light? Cause two wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we feeling right now. Some Chardonnay, we camp in the parking lot. Lay traces of plastic cups. We're just doing what we feeling right now. So what the hell? Why you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get, so what the hell? Yeah, what the hell? So what the hell? So what the hell? What are you waiting for now? You're pretending that you like somebody else, like you got boys waiting in line to take you home. But tell the truth, you spend the night alone. Let's be alone. So why don't we stay out till the morning light? Cause two wrongs can make a right. We're just doing what we feeling right now. So what the hell? Why you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get, so what the hell? Yeah, what the hell? Are you ready so what the hell? So what the hell? Why you hanging on the rooftop by yourself? Always waiting for the one, but I got news for you. I'm the best that you can get, so what the hell? Yeah, what the hell? So what the hell?
One playoff match down, one still here to go. With the stakes not changing, you win, you're moving on to the semifinals. You lose, your season is done. Two underdogs have made their way to the Coliseum as South Fayette looks to take on Mountain View in a close seeding matchup, 20 versus 21, but two unexpected teams that look to work their way through a best of 5.
Yeah, South Fayette though, you were enlightening me a little bit before we got going. 8-0, a phenomenal run, and we talk about all the wonderful people behind the scenes as well. KA9 kind of updating us. Yes, they are the 20th seed, but they didn't get a play in that fall season, so not as many points to kind of rack up there. So South Fayette, even though it says 20th seed, I feel like they're probably much higher than that.
You know, and at the end of the day, like we said, you can kind of remove those seedings. We just saw the #1 overall seed fall towards the #8 seed. At the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you're going to have to beat the rest. The field is shortening and shortening as we continue to go. And we'll get to take a look at where we're starting. As per usual, Control and Lijiang Tower.
Hey, who would have guessed it? But honestly, I like Lijiang Tower, so I haven't seen it so repetitively that it's not quite on that King's Row level for me just yet. So we'll have to see what submap that we start out with here on this time. And you know, again, I like these series of maps because the majority of them have that quote unquote booping capability here, and so I always look forward to some of these comps. But Heimdall on the Reinhardt.
I like it. I feel like we've been seeing it more and more, and especially on a map where there is that boot potential. You're just going to put up and shield and say, no, big man, no allow you to boop. No more, no more.
The German engineering. But honestly, I think when I see a Heimdall, I like the Brigitte. I think she's a great supplemental tank. But for me, I feel like you need a Lucio or a Junio to kind of have that speed.
Yeah, that speed is very important, especially on a couple maps like these where there is those quick access points that have cover inside of them. But it is time. It's going to be the pretty much full dive composition from the Lions for Mountain View. They look to soar high above the rest. It's playoff matchup #2. As usual, let's play some Overwatch.
Here we go, right back into it, out on the Gardens, much like that first submap of the first series here as well. We can see this early rollout onto the point here as well, and Heimdall finds chicken early. The support goes down, and it's a good start for Mountain View.
Able to take down the Lucio. That speed is going to be shut down very quickly, and Doomfist has to utilize some aerial mobility to avoid being knocked off. Now Sly does take down Raven, and that's a double. Supports are slashed and dashed. Heimdall with a great little fire charge there is going to send down 2 kills in their favor, but it's already South Fayette working their way up, and with only the tank left, it's only a matter of time before they fall.
Hanging on by a thread, but eventually does get taken out here. And surprisingly, even though they did all of that damage, never really able to capture that point. And now Sly will find Vegeta with that. South Fayette looks to be the first to capture the point and begin to build that percentage.
They're going to start their build up here. Lions working with a decent bit of ultimate charge. The only person on the other side, it's really Heimdall and Esports 2 that have got the control on those ultimate counters. And very early on, you're going to see this mobility, the composition with a Genji, with a Doomfist, with the Lucio. It's not very front to back. It's very brawly. And in between that shield, Mountain View have to be careful of losing their backline.
Yeah, Milky already finding Vegito, now pressuring in his chicken. They see how low Heimdall is. They find the pick. I mean, Mitwagen got a consolation prize on the Sly in the mix, but it's all blue names in the kill feed. A team kill comes in, and Mountain View now beginning to experience some of that trouble that is the Lions.
They're so good for a reason. They might not have played in fall, but they're ready to go. The Lucio's going to hide out in the tree line as the Meteor Strike comes down. From the high ground, they will rain in and look to dive the rest of that back line, delaying for even more time. 50% already as Heimdall looks to continue the swing. Chicken has just not been involved in this fight, waiting for the right moment to get behind him and go for the boop. They've got the tire as well. Lions playing patient. 3 ultimates still to work.
Always fun to watch a good Doomfist with great mobility, but it's Petey on the 2K with a rip tire ripping through the competition. Milky, Heimdall, Mitwagen all finding a piece of the pie here as they look to crack the puzzle. Milky, but Heimdall hits that banana peel from Mario Kart maybe and slips off the edge here. That's a unfortunate event, but they've got 3-4 ults to work with here, so they have an opportunity to battle back in. But man, South Fayette already at 85%.
You've got to watch out for the backline shutdown. Even though you've got something like the high noon call, Sly can shut that down very quickly by getting behind you. A split up team fight again, and Mountain View just have to go. Kitsune Rush is going to be immediately popped on the other side, and swinging down to the ground, it's going to be Earthshatter up and available, but waiting, biding the time here. Finally, Esports 2 takes his shot, but is traded out. It's a 1-for-1 on the tank, but that Reinhardt is nanoed, and he's coming right for the team fight victory.
Great victory here for Mountain View, but again, we talk about it, 99% here for South Fayette. All they have to do is win one of these next couple fights. So for Mountain View, they're really going to have to make a goal line stand, so to speak. They've got an ult to work with, but only the one here of Reinhardt.
Is going to be one on the other side. That's a 5-man shatter. Sound barrier is going to be forced. The pop of the health bars getting the extension. Nobody's booped off, and Sly looks to re-engage as the tank falls. This is where your team fight breaks down. Without the front part of that front to back, it's no chance to get that ultimate buildup. It's no chance to fight back for the back line, and it's going to be the pushback from Milky on a double kill. Vegito is down next, and the meteor strike will just be for pure customization. South Fayette, they're holding the line with overtime burning down.
Yeah, that fuse beginning to dwindle there, and with that, South Fayette will take this first one here on Gardens, 100-41. We saw Mountain View begin to battle back, but it was just a little bit too late there for them. So hopefully they've maybe found an answer here now. We'll have an opportunity to showcase that in round number 2 as again, right back to the control center we go. So they're going to have to find that dub on control here if they want to push it in toward that night market.
Sub-map number 2 here. South Fayette looking to cleanse it very quickly. No real changes on their side. For the Eagles on the other side, they're pretty much keeping the same as well. Vegito, we saw pick up the Soldier. A lot of that self-healing is very phenomenal, and their biggest change is going to be in that tank role. Heimdall going to go with another barrier hero, but it's not going to be the Reinhardt on the choice this time.
We absolutely love some Sigma action, but Heimdall is just going to toy with our emotions for a bit, maybe opt to go with the Zarya here this time as well, but I'm not sure how well the Zarya does play in toward that Doomfist, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how they're able to utilize that. Not too many changes here for South Fayette. They like to say if it's not broke, there's no need to fix it.
And they're fixing for making themselves a video in towards this next map with a 1-0 start. That'd be huge for them and huge for the confidence as this Lions squad already booming with it. PD takes down Vegito, and already Mountain View without a consistent source of damage. They're gonna lose their cleanse off the back line, and the Lions are just ripping through these long sight lines, and Sly showing they can play any hero.
Yeah, putting in the work this time on the Cassidy is. We do see PD finding Mitwagon here as well. It's been early pressure. They're going to have to fall back and at least take the point now, but they've got this early pressure. This first little checkpoint or choke point can be tough to get through here, but it looked like some of South Fayette had to fall back, take that point, so Mountain View will gain just a little bit of ground here.
Get the move forward around the pillar here and move up the stairs as well. It's going to be Sly that's got to be very careful as Esports 2 the one to take him down. Cassidy on Cassidy violence as Heimdall is charged up to 60, but loses every bit of their life. Somehow survives on just under 20 pieces of health and then just burns down the chicken. That's not a lava chicken, that's a dead chicken.
80 finding Heimdall as well, but a little bit of back and forth as Cassidy does pick up on toward Bubba, and we do see Mountain View begin to capture that point here and pad some percentage of their own. So willing to take this fight toward the point, but Milky slams in. He finds the second. There is a trade back here, but Milky's on a tear. He's got a triple, make it a quadra, and Heimdall will have to back off.
Love that perfectly timed meteor strike, and is just playing the offense as perfect as possible. Stares them down, puts up the blockers. That quick change up that every time it feels like this Doomfist can bring. Mountain View, they're going to need an answer, only 15% on the board.
They've got 15%. At least it's something, but you're right. South Fayette continues to kind of assert their dominance. They win fight after fight, but PD gets caught a little off guard here. Will be the first to fall. Slide did pick up on one, but it's Mountain View currently winning that battle. They've got the player advantage. We'll see if they're able to inch forward. The Kitsune rush comes out, but Midwagon finds Milky. The tank goes down, and Mountain View an opportunity to look for some more percentage.
I mean, that is just nuts. Kitsune Rush rally with 100 charged Zarya. Nobody's gonna beat that, but I guess Sly is gonna give Mitwagen a little bit more than the haircut asked for. Straight through the dome, Bubba swaps over to the Ana as well to go for the sleep, but Vegito actually takes down Sly on the long-range headshot, so Milky is kind of isolated here.
Now we see another pick here, so Milky does eventually go down. Vegito is going to fall here as well, but Mountain View should be able to maintain control of that point here and look a little bit closer toward tying it up. And honestly, if they could just find a way to win a battle or two more, probably at least two more of these fights, they could look to close out this map and tie up the series on control.
One more sub map could be theirs. Mountain View on the other side of this extra shot. Every time Esports 2 has got the numbers of these long-range heroes, it's going to be the tire that blows everything open. That's a 3K. The Meteor Strike is going to bring the value of the skies descending right towards their face. And Bubbanator takes down the fourth. They're just waiting. They're just playing their patience, but Milky's down to 29 HP and survived.
Yeah, you had Heimdall pretty low, and fortunately punched him right into the big health pack, and so it made things a little bit tougher there as Heimdall is able to hang on for just a bit, has that ult, could combine it with the tactical visor here as well and look to win it, but now South Fayette getting toward that 99% mark. Mountain View has to make something happen here soon.
Try to go with a flux of gravity here, changing up the send-in, and Chicken pushes them off, and South Fayette will win this first map in 2.
Take it into here. We saw Mountain View begin to battle back really in both of those first sub maps, but couldn't quite find it consistently here. So Milky, your play of the game, and I gotta say I'm loving that Doomfist skin.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. The pet caretaker and Milky just watching back in this quadra. The meteor strikes have been perfectly timed, and you watch the target goes for the backline first, realizes that the Deadeye isn't really well positioned. They can focus on that later, and then goes back to even clean it up so they don't lose any players on that fight. South Fayette up 1-0 to start very early on in this series. Now the question is for Mountain View, where do you go? Where do you choose for this next map?
Yeah, you not only get to pick the map, but the mode as well. And so for Mountain View, they're going to be looking for a map that they've played, historically well on. And so we'll have to wait and see where we go. We know it tends to be a lot of Kings Row, but there are other options, not just hybrid out there as well. And so we talk about sometimes when you are that map picker, picking a push or a flashpoint or something where you don't allow your opponents to pick whether they start out on defense or offense is something that could benefit you. But you know me, Llama, I love the payload map, so I'm hoping for the hybrid escort action.
You know me as well. I'm open for it. Don't give me any Flashpoint as much as I love an extension of the series. We've only got one Flashpoint map actually in the overall pool, so interesting enough if we do go there. For South Fayette, though, a really great start to the series. If they can pick up this map number 2, it's exactly like we said from that last series. You've got now 3 chances to try and close it out, pick up a sweep here, and with just so much on a line, a chance to play on Saturday in the semifinals. You win that, you're in the championship match. Just one best of 5 to win it all.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about, the importance of being able to come in and week out and play nearly flawlessly to kind of really mitigate those minor mistakes, because every game incredibly crucial in a series, in a playoff bracket like this. And so, that's what it takes to be the best of the best, to punch that ticket in toward that championship where you can hope to close it out at a phenomenal weekend land there at Mount Aloysius.
We're going to be there as well, so if you were feeling like you want to go down there, just another reason to come up or come down for wherever you are in the United States to watch some great esports, watch some amazing action, and maybe you're a fan of Mario Kart, want to join the open tournament and just play on the amazing PCs that they have there. Their lab is a phenomenal one, and got to say, they're building up something amazing over there.
Now, do you have a favorite, who's your go-to Mario Kart racer?
I like me some Rob. I will say though, I'm kind of just a classic Mario man. I feel like everybody likes to go with all that jazz and whatever it may be, but no razzmatazz. Either give me the robot or give me the Italian plumber.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win. Is my. I love Wario, and everybody's always, oh, you should be Waluigi. You're tall and skinny. I love Wario, and I'm gonna be Wario, and that's my pick. I'm taking it, Llama.
Good. Yeah, tell him. And we said as well that you better watch out. Hot Sauce is coming to take that Mario Kart Open title. So bring your A game. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're possibly going to have that streamed as well. We still got to figure out the logistics for that night. So lots of streams going to be going on across the weekend. We've also got our third stream is going to be solo Smash. So all day long for both days, it's just completely Smash. No other esports on that one.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad that we get a little break here and there because I do want to stop by and check out some of the Super Smash. I know some of my stepkids have been beating me up in Super Smash Brothers for quite some time. So I'm always curious to take a look at the talent out there. So I look forward to really getting to see all the titles in action at some point throughout the wonderful weekend there at Mount Aloysius. And as Llama said, we hope to see all of you there as well. Again, it's an unmatched atmosphere. Whether your team is going or not, it would be a fun time just to see everybody there.
Like we said, that challenge is still on the table. Reward to be determined of who brings out the largest fan section to cheer the team on, to keep them going. And for right now, I mean, for South Fayette, they look like they've got one heck of a fan section. They show up every time, dedicated more than anything to cheer them on, and cheer them on they must as they're up 1-0.
Yeah, you know, and it's great to see the support, whether it's in person or, you know, online as well. Just having people showing up, showing out, showing that support, whether it's parents, teachers, or students, you know, not only does it mean a lot to all of us here, but it certainly means a lot to those students that are playing. So you love to see the community rally around the kids and really just, you know, cheer them on. It's fun.
Is a ton of fun, I've got to say, and we've got some updates. Not only did we get the Penn Manor victory a little bit earlier, but one other team has punched their ticket. Carlisle with the 3-0 victory over Loyal Zoc will also be there on Championship Saturday and possibly Sunday as well.
There we go. So I think it's just Spring Grove and CB South left to duke it out there to decide that final spot. Much like up here, whoever wins today goes on to face Penn Manor. I think that's what we talked about earlier. We don't really envy any of these teams because there are no easy matchups after this point. And, well, as we maybe thought, we are heading back toward Kings Row here. So South Fayette, do they opt to start out on that defensive side, Llama?
Hey, we've had this debate all season long. There's been one team that's taken my side today, but of course it will be interesting to see what they select. And, you know, great teams are just going to find ways to win. I think for South Fayette, if you win this one, you look ahead, you see what's in front of you. You have the confidence now to say, we've already got one under our belt. And I feel like that gives you even more of an advantage. You didn't just fully win. It's a control mode where you did see some of your flaws. You did see some of the team fights not going your way. You can patch it to make it even better going into this map number 2.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, these hybrids resemble control in the fact that there is still a point that you have to unlock first before you gain control of that payload. So we saw Mountain View have some success throughout that initial series, just they couldn't quite finalize it. So I think if they can unlock that payload, they could certainly get it rolling. I'm just worried about this first initial choke point. It can be really tough to navigate through, especially with some of these team comps.
It's also kind of interesting. We don't get too much of the behind the scenes picks of which are going to be banned away. Both team gets one hero ban for each of the maps, and you can target pretty much anything. For South Fayette, they have chosen the attacking side, bringing out the Doomfist, ready to swing. And Mountain View, well, they're going to have to play a real good defense if they want to set the tone and possibly make this series even.
Oh, it comes down to this here. We'll see exactly what they've got to muster up, and you talked about it here. We see South Fayette on that attacking side, wanting to show exactly what they've got to offer out here. Early pressure, the snipe from Widow as well, finds that first pick. Chicken's going to fall here to Brigitte, though, and with that, a 1-for-1 trade.
I mean, you can see the health bars at the top right too for South Fayette, just not advantageous. Vegito takes down Sly, and the Widow from the window being sent back to the window company over and over. And these rocks have just connected. The stun you get from it is massive. Milky really hasn't found their way into the back line yet, but a soldier and grenade perfectly pushes them away.
Heimdall on the Sigma here. A great job right now of not only mitigating the damage, but supplementing that that damage as well. He's got one trapped over into the corner. We see him able to get away for the time being, and with that, Heimdall will rotate back around. South Fayette not able to crack onto the point just yet as Sly continues to look for these snipes.
Just trying to find some sort of opening here. Sly again does find one, but it's going to be on the Ana. Need to still target that front line, and it's the Ashe that battles it through. Can you use your spawn advantage at this point? For Milky, yes you can. No more supports available. Yoinks away the small health back, but will die in the process. The rest of the team, Chicken, trying to hold. It's just one bar unlocked. Heimdall is still throwing rocks here.
Chicken finding the two-piece. Raven Folly, though, able to answer back here as Bubba does find the pick on to Heimdall. And now without a tank, all of a sudden things get tougher here. South Fayette should be able to pressure on, unlock this payload. It's PD with the dirty 2K, and they're looking to hunt down the rest of these members of Mountain View.
Stagger him out. Why not? As soon as you unlock that first payload. Now moving forward, and Milky will get the chunk down onto esports too. I mean, they are pushed all the way up to where that first checkpoint is located. 4.5 minutes here for the Lions as they look to extend their tenure here on Kings Row.
Yeah, Kings Row. I mean, every team I feel like at this point in time is comfortable on this map. It's just about who is going to be able to execute better at this point. South Fayette, they were slow just a bit in the beginning, but and now they've got that momentum rolling. They've got 4 minutes plus to find this next checkpoint, and they've got a couple ults to work with. Actually 4, almost 5 here on deck.
It's almost all of them. They're ready to go here. Milky's going to utilize the Meteor Strike, looking for that back line. Ana's the target, but pushed away with that sleep. Milky has to work their way around, and it's going to be Chicken investing the ultimate here as well, but it looked like it actually didn't connect onto any of the nearby members. Bubanator still with the ultimate as well, but it's a one-for-one trade. Sly using the Kitsune Rush to move their way back in. PD ready to go with the ultimate as well if need be, but the Melody, the rally, it's not enough here. The Mountain View players are falling, and it's all on Heimdall and the wagon to try and rotate their way back in this fight.
They've got to work back in toward here. I mean, honestly, we see that contention coming up, but Sly, PD, they've got the ults on deck. Vegito has the tactical visor as well, but Milky's going to find this pick onto mid, and so now you're losing a support. Milky does fall to Heimdall, though, and without a tank, now Mountain View has an opportunity to really stifle this push of South Fayette.
Gonna use the infra sight to look through the walls here. PD, that could be very helpful, but no headshot hit just yet. They're gonna delay time for their tank to come back through. PD just says go, but the rock shuts them down. Sly needs to hit a huge shot, and honestly, with just broken team fight here from the Lions, they're down to 2.5 minutes, but they are on the verge of more time.
On that verge, just got to get a little bit further to add some time onto the clock here as Heimdall up front has done a good job with this Sigma. We see Vegito already finding Chicken here as well. When you lose an early support, it spells trouble, but Milky able to return fire, finds the support on the other side here as well. The Meteor Strike rains down, and it's a bit of back and forth here as Milky will eventually find Raven.
Huge takedown to get. You eliminate the sleep dart on the other side. You don't have any ultimates to work for. Vegito doesn't get the chance to use much of their visor. Sly that headshot, the shutdown, and esports 2 still finding ways to battle their way on. A 2 for 2. The sound barrier popped on top. But without Milky here, it is all on the DPS of South Fayette to try and remove this contestant, to try and take their team fight, and they won't get it. They have to back off as Sly falls.
Yeah, it's crazy how close South Fayette has gotten. And I mean, really, they had a ton of momentum in their favor, but Mountain View has just put up a mountain that they can't seem to climb at the moment here. Sly PD just now coming back, but you see South Fayette dangerously far forward here and at risk of continuously being staggered out.
Again and again, you've got to watch where those members are going. You can't just send one in at a time. It's got to be everybody together. Milky's going to look from the left side angle as the rest of the team approaches from the right side. playing their geometry, looking to execute the theorem, but it's going to be the duplicate coming out. Esports 2, the only one really to fall from that duplication. The backline will fall though after the single kill comes through from the Lions, looking to re-engage against these two ultimates. Heimdall's ready to change it, Sly's 1 for 1, but Milky just really does not have a lot of HP left to fight. Under 200, the rock goes wide, but it will be Kitsune rush time. Sending forward, fighting the brig. The rally, is it enough to hold on as the soldier grenade continues to rip through the front line?
Unfortunately, Midwagon immediately taken down from the rally. Heimdall letting the melody sing here. We'll find Bubba in the mix. Heimdall gets PD as well and looking to make a last-second stand. It's the Meteor Strike. Sly finding Echo from the sky, getting Raven in the back line. It's the 2K and Milky in the face of Heimdall. 8 seconds left. Overtime almost needed as they just inch into territory. They'll put 132 back on the clock for the final push.
Extra bonus 90 seconds here, South Fayette. It was all on Milky to win that fight, and another just perfectly timed Meteor Strike. The battle against Heimdall, it is a good one. It is a good tank duel here. But Mountain View, the Eagles need to try and soar. PD's dead!
PD goes down. Chicken finds Vegito in the mix though. And with that, a little bit of a trade back and forth. It's Bubba to find Echo from the sky. South Fayette, the player advantage. Milky picks up onto Raven, and all of a sudden they begin to fall like dominoes. Chicken finds Midwagon. Heimdall all alone as shells ring out. South Fayette looking for the final destination.
They have just jockeyed for position down this ramp, and will Mountain View even get a contest? 3, 2, 1.77 is all that's left. PD gets another opener. Vegito is dead. Raven Folly is too. Everything's falling apart. Heimdall, it is you versus the world, and it looks like the black hole will not encapsulate it this time. A good finish on the attack from the Lions.
Yeah, honestly, they probably could have had it just a little quicker. So even though Mountain View continued to stagger out there, they were able to contest quite a bit. I mean, 28 seconds isn't a ton of time. So if Mountain View, on the flip side of things here, can come out with a strong initial push and look to work off the back of that momentum, they very well could find themselves with the upper hand here on map number 2. And honestly, I feel like they need to take this map. You really don't want to allow a team like South Fayette to get not only to match, but to series point this early.
Do lions have hands, or is it 4 feet?
Pause.
Paws? The upper paw, how about that? Looking to get the upper paw here in map number 2. Whatever it may be for Mountain View, I think this is also one where you can play a little bit different around your composition. Esports 2 has been playing just a lot of different things here, and specifically with the Echo, you can play this first part of the hybrid with the aerial view, with a chance to just blow open that backline, and Heimdall's going to make a critical switch as well.
Which is coming out. PD on the Bastion here as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of changes I feel like on the side of Mountain View. We saw that Echo come in toward the end there already, but now Heimdall onto the Roadhog, Vegito there, toying with the idea of Genji might just go back toward the Soldier here. But for the most part for South Fayette, the comp hasn't really changed up too much.
PD's going to bring in our specialty though. The Bastion move, the extra dip and dash of the damage you can add. And for Mountain View, very important that they start off quick, but also find a way to finish this cart off. Overtime could be necessary if they can push that cart all the way to the end. And for Vegito, isn't going to go for any sort of widow in the window. It is all offense, no nonsense.
I will see just how quickly they can work toward unlocking the payload here. Vegeta dangerously low here, does have to tuck in, maybe work toward that health pack down below, but Echo says, no, I need that snatch. And with that, we'll have to get healed up just a bit. Mountain View slow and steady here, a little bit more of a methodical push, not wanting to give up an early pick yet.
Sly expecting Vegito coming from that left side, so that early damage already comes through. The force of the dash back to the backline. Chicken falls to the aerial prowess of Esports 2, just playing around that statue to perfection. Vegito's got to watch out for that reflect timer. Here comes the burn, the alternate form goes to the sky, kill down. PD has got the anti-air machine and starts the fight with a banger.
Yeah. PD doing a great job recognizing that it is really his job to work on those high-flying characters like Echo. So a great job to chop him down here early. It was an early pick from Mountain View that started that off. It looked like they were going to be able to press in toward the point, but it's been this slow stuttle play here from South Fayette that has allowed them to kind of maintain control. And again, we see these early picks. Echo getting picked again here early. Having to make this push with a player down is very tough.
Especially with PD having that ultimate up and available. Pigpen is going to be thrown out, catches them for just a moment. Midwagon is going to lose their immortality field, and it's going to be the dip and dodge through the room that Milky avoids well enough. I mean, you've got 2 ultimates up and available. Sure, they're support ultimates. The health bars are just not there right now. Milky is going to continue to burn them down. They lose both DPSs, and you try to send out a nano, but now it's just a 2v5, and PD's got the damage to rip them apart.
We love seeing some Bastion success out here. I know Llama and I both some former Bastion main actions, but it's Heimdall throwing fisticuff, finding Chicken as he looks to cook up a little 3-piece dinner there as well. But Sly has that 6th man, has Bob ready, unfortunately immediately taken out and not going to get to utilize that ult.
Kind of caught in the health pack room there, and it's going to be the rest of the team utilizing the Kitsune rush. They want to run back. PD's dead. No DPSs for this fight. Milky's going to go for the meteor strike here, but bides their time. This capture is just inches away from becoming a reality, and Milky, they're going to invest the sound barrier as well. A lot here on this fight, and it's all for naught as South Fayette are just losing members, losing supports, and the payload is unlocked for the Eagles.
Yeah, they kind of stagger in there to looking to maybe extend that time, and sometimes it works out in your favor, but I feel like unfortunately they got the short end of the stick, and now they have that further back spawn. They find a couple of these members caught forward. Heimdall and crew will chase them down and just solidify that stagger a bit longer here. So South Fayette in dangerous position. Milky gets hooked here early as well, and they've got to be careful.
Got that big artillery form if they want to try and zone them out, push them back here, but the self-sustain here of the Roadhog is just so tough to deal with. Bob is going to try and juice them down. That extra health bar right in front. A single ultimate this time breaks down the team fight, and the hook is not even enough to get a pick. About halfway to checkpoint 1 is where the Eagles stall out.
And we saw them stall a little bit in that previous one as well, but hopefully they can find a way to get this momentum back here. South Fayette only has the 1 ult to work with versus the 2, almost 4 from Mountain View. So we talk about staggering can be a bad thing, but you want to stagger out those ultimates a little bit. Hopefully 2 at just a time. PD picking up that nade kill onto Vegito could spell early trouble here in this next fight for Mountain View, though.
That early loss, of course, can just allow the change of the form to go through. The window's going to be good to push Milky off, but he's a fast boy. He's going to get back to the payload as quick as possible. Hook comes in, Chicken's dead. This is exactly the fight that Mountain View wanted. It's a victory off of solo picks. They really don't have to use any of their ultimates to push forward.
Now 2 picks here as well. Heimdall is going to snatch up PD, and all of a sudden, that's more success here for Mountain View. They're eating up a lot of space here as well. They've got 2 tucked under the payload, so it continues to move with a bit of a quickened pace here. And Heimdall just holding on to this whole hog here. It's something that could really push everybody away from this checkpoint and allow them to solidify it with some extra time.
Full side. Go off the edge, and that's just a huge opener. There's no meters left between that checkpoint. Mountain View's ready to go. They still need to push all the way towards the end, but hook after hook connecting. He has been on point, though, to cut down the backline as Chicken escapes back to the rest of the team. The bouncing bombs continue to be laid in perfect perfection here as PD takes down Esports 2. 3 ultimates available for the Eagles, but bye-bye Roadhog.
That can be devastating. Chicken, a huge boop onto a tank that had full health. Sly picks up a support, and now this could be that extra effect here that South Fayette needs to really stifle this push from Mountain View, who was really looking good here late in this one.
They found that checkpoint. They got the timer extension, but I feel like it was all opened up off of PD. You get those early picks, it allows your team to play so far forward. Now Milky's got to be a little bit careful. Uses just the push forward. Sly able to take the first off a headshot. That Kitsune rush is so useful when you have a Bastion. Just fire the bullets, send them back to the spawn. South Fayette survive with 4 ultimates still to use.
Yeah, PD maybe looking to rain down from above here as well, but they've got so many ultimates on deck. Honestly, Mountain View's not too far behind as well. It's about getting the most value for it as well. We see that window pop up. You don't want to be on the other side of that. Has to use the meteor strike to get in toward the back line. The hook from Heimdall, and it's good for Milky. Petey up top trying to rain down from behind. He does get pushed back a bit here though, and now Echo in the face of the competition, but Bob will supply a little help as well as Chicken. And every time it looks like Mountain View about to gain a little bit of ground, South Fayette just pulls something out of nothing.
They're magicians, to say the least. Should maybe change their occupation from Overwatch players. But nah, I think they're doing pretty good at this. Vegito gets the reflection onto the Bastion, the classic bane of the existence. South Fayette down a player. That was their only ultimate as well that they had into this team fight. Another reflection kill. And Esports 2 has got the first support down. Melky is in no man's land, but for this Doomfist, the self-survivability delays the time. A minute to go for the Eagles.
Yeah, this one could be very close to about the same time if they can continue this push here. And there's only one ult for South Fayette to work with. On the side of Mountain View, they've got a couple here, so they just have to make sure they get the most value possible out of this. But all of a sudden, Echo barely escaping with her life.
Finding their way back around the pillar. This is the chance. This is the map right here. It's artillery form utilized very early, but it has a very long cooldown you can utilize. Anna's just caught in it. Sly takes it. Milky's down low, and the tank fight is won by Mountain View. It's a quick duplication from Esports 2 that goes down, but they're right there. They can taste it, but the spawn advantage from the Lions are pushing them off.
And the Lions have been able to eat up time, so they'll guarantee themselves at least the upper hand, the upper paw, as Llama had said earlier. But, I mean, they still have an opportunity to prevent them from pushing this payload in. The overtime fuse is going to be lit. They have 3.13 meters to go, and Milky finds the pick onto the tank. That could spell disaster for Mountain View.
Vegito was nanoed, but no longer. The overtime fuse is snuffed. South Fayette are going up by 2.
What a nail biter. Mountain View was pulling out all the stops, and all of a sudden at the end of the game, South Fayette, the rabbit from the hat, you talked about the magicians, and Mr. Milky, the Doomfist himself, the play of the game. South Fayette now at series point.
Get to watch this one again, and it was just a real good shutdown. The timing of the abilities and to be able to cut down behind the brig shield there is just something special. South Fayette, they are building up a special season here, and man, Mountain View gave them one heck of a fight there, pushed them all the way down to 30 seconds on the time clock, and I thought for sure they were right there, meters away from finding ourselves into an overtime. But no, it's the Lions, like so many times this season, able to clutch up. They are now plus 20 in map differential, yet to drop one overall on the course of this season, and boy, they look like they want to go to the semifinals.
Yeah, you can't let that number 20 seed fool you. They are undefeated, as Llama said, and haven't dropped a single map yet. That is absolutely insane. And South Fayette showing why they're deserving of being the spot they're in. But that doesn't mean they've closed it out just yet. Mountain View equally as deserving of being here. And so they're going to be holding on by a thread, but sometimes that's where teams perform the best. It'll be up to Mountain View with their backs against the wall to see if they can clutch it up, extend the series, and maybe grab some dubs.
If they can win this next one, I mean, the thing is, if you win, you do lose control of where you're going to pick, but you have to assume that they're going to pick either a full set of payload or something like a push, and after that, there's not too much left in the overall map pool, so it's kind of an advantage to say, we've got all this already out, and we will see what that selection is right now. We're going to Saravasa, the first flashpoint of the day.
Well, we finally made it to a flashpoint. I know Llama is ecstatic, but you know, 2 thumbs down. You can't see him, but he's not as happy as he might be. And honestly, I feel flashpoint hasn't been our favorite. I will say Saravasa is at least aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It's fun to look at, and you know, you get that kind of symmetry, that even playing ground, even starting field. No one picks offense or defense, so this might be something that does help Mountain View here and maybe be that little spark to ignite that spectral fire to get them back in this series. But I don't know how they do it against this South Fayette squad. They have been looking almost perfect here today.
They've been pretty flawless, and it is important to note that overall for Flashpoint, we only do have Suravasa. That's the only map selection available for Flashpoint. New Junk City, it was tossed in the water. We got rid of it. It's forever gone out of the Overwatch pool. But no, for real, I mean, this is a good chance because it's not only just a map where it's in burst fights, where in burst fights, Mountain View have been winning. They've showed their prowess to be able to use some of their ultimates. And the other important thing is those ultimates transfer over. It's not like a control where after the first submap, everything resets back to 0. This is something where if you're Mountain View, I feel like you've been using your ultimate timings just a little bit better. You can use that to your advantage going through here into Flashpoint.
Yeah, you know, and it's a faster control. These hills capture faster. So if you have success, win a battle, you're more likely to capture that hill. So we've got 5 points scattered across Suravasa. We've got the market, garden, palace, temple, and the ruins where we're going to see a lot of wonderful battles. You know, obviously these teams want to close it out in 3, but I would love to get some more Overwatch on the day. It'll be up to Mountain View as we take another beautiful look of the scenery here in India at Suravasa. And a big shout out to Nick again for those aerial drone skills. It's nice to have a little bit of that calm before the storm, because in about 25 seconds, that beautiful chaos is about to explode onto Suravasa.
Man, this poor map. It might be the most beautiful map, but after 20 seconds, there's going to be bullets flying around. There's going to be a roadhog stomping through, destroying some of their stairs. And Milky is going for a change-up, going for a frontline battle here with a front-to-back team fight. A Junkrat battled behind of the Reinhardt. It'll be interesting to see if this works out.
Well, hopefully it does. Milky switching it up a little bit here, and I think if it doesn't go their way for that first point or two, we might see them back on the Doomfist. But they've got the Lucio, they've got Sly here as well, and it's a composition that I think really can work with Reinhardt here. They've got the early positioning on toward the point here as well, and Reinhardt, I feel like, does great against a Roadhog.
Yeah, he's pretty good at blocking away some of those hooks. Has a nice beefy shield as well to block some of the damage that Roadhog outputs. But that shield, speak of it, it is burnt down to nothing very quickly. South Fayette controlling the hill. They're going to get first touch and first bit of percentage as Mountain View just fighting from the outside in.
Yeah, we see Heimdall trying to get a hook toward that trap there to get an early pick, but that shield has kind of prevented it thus far. Vegito up top, dangerously low on health, but nobody has quite spotted him yet. Sly on the 2K and continues to hunt him down. It's Chicken to find Wagon. Mountain View loses a few, and it's probably going to be hard for them to take this push back, but Heimdall finding the tank, and now maybe an opportunity.
Contest comes through. Lions are just trying to delay as long as they can. The hook comes. The PD says, I've got some bombs for you. Vegito slicing, dashing, dying to Bubba-nator. And a huge little setback here. South Fayette has found their fights, and Sly is on the look. Cuts down the aerial, and Mountain View have to regroup quickly.
Have to regroup once more. Again, it seems like they'll have these moments of success, even with a player down at times. South Fayette finds a way to reel it back, but now Milky switching to the Maga, and Maga is always devastating, especially on the right hands here, so they're gonna have to be equally careful here.
Can do a lot of damage. It's really good at taking down that front line as well, and Vegito's gonna get snapped and dead. Milky's got the headshot onto the tank, and this is going to be hill number 1 in the Lions' favor. Now they're gonna look for this rotational shutdown because that next point unlocks in just 30 seconds. They're gonna get the rotate over. They do invest the blade, but South Fayette's still controlling these fights.
To take that first point. Now they just need 2 more. They've got the ult economy to work with as well. Mountain View finally getting back on the battlefield. They find 2 picks, even being a player down. So South Fayette maybe a bit separated from the squad here. PD able to return fire, finds the echo. They're going to get onto the point first here, but it still takes about another 5 seconds for it to unlock.
Getting ready to fight this second one. Bubba-nator has just been on point in the long-range daggers that they've been throwing to shut down the opponents. That's a huge blade shutdown from this early fight as well. Heimdall's on the Diva. That can eat up a lot of the projectiles from the defense matrix. However, it's going to be a dip back. Sly was on a piece of HP that they lose, and now Milky and crew have got to fight back a player down.
Vegito finding that pick on Sly. The sound barrier could help him stay alive for a bit while longer, even without that fifth player. As we see the Kitsune rush, the sound barrier, everything coming out at the moment. Petey's got the Riptire, Milky getting that cage online, but they both fall in the final moments. Chicken, a consolation prize, but Mountain View looking to battle back.
It's going to be up to 50% here for the Lions before Mountain View get their first touch, and they ended up, nanoing the Diva in that fight because Vegito was further behind, but they get so many ultimates out, a huge fight win here, and a stabilizer from the Eagles.
Yeah, and they've got the better ult economy at the moment as well, which means if they stagger them out properly, they should be able to win the next engagement or two. Look to tie this up here on Flashpoint, but easier said than done. You got to deal with a Riptire. Milky has swapped towards Zarya. Sly does find Brigitte in the background here. Now they've got the player advantage. Heimdall looking to drop bombs. Raven went down on the mix. Heimdall will find Sly, and back into the mech we go. But Petey, the Riptire, able to collect one, and it's South Fayette working with a player advantage.
Heimdall just the panic jets trying to get out of the skies. The rest of the team falls around them. South Fayette give up 70%, but they yoink some ultimates and they take it back in their own right. I mean, this is just Zarya's playhouse here. 100 fully charged as the bubble breaks.
Yeah, and that's always a dangerous position to be in. If you don't have teammates that can really eliminate Zarya, break through that bubble, and chop her down immediately, then you really have to be careful about shooting that bubble. Zarya on full charge, even near full charge, 80 plus, so deadly. Petey lobbing in the nades from a distance. He's not done with one. He'll gather a second. South Fayette has 2 points on the board. They need one more to close out the series.
Suravasa is just unforgiving on those sight lines, and it's been the Junker, it's been the Zarya, and Milky is not letting you run away. These are their kills they want to chase down, and setting themselves up for a series victory, a sweep to try and set themselves up in a semi-final matchup against Penn Manor. Mountain View, they've got 2 ultimates to battle this next one through.
Got a couple ultimates to work with, and they need to make sure they win this next point. This is the ultimate do or die situation. Unfortunately, Echo continues to be shot out of the sky, and we haven't seen many comp switches here on the side of Mountain View. Vegito finally going toward the Bastion as we see a ton of ults coming out here. Sly, Milky finding 2. Mitwagon got one, but Sly for another, hanging on by a thread of health. But the Dragon Dance, the blade comes out. Milky and crew will get another big win as they look to cap the point first.
I mean, just so smooth and crisp every single time Sly wants to go for those engagements. And it feels like with that reflect as well, Vegito's going to go for the swap, but Sly's been so good at the target selection, knowing when to use the abilities. Mountain View need to reverse sweep this map to even start their own reverse sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough at this point. South Fayette really has been controlling the majority of these games, and now already at 50%. We talked about how fast it is on Flashpoint to capture these points. Mountain View slowly feeling it begin to slip from the grasp of the fingers.
Backing their way off here, and over again, this is just Chicken finding picks. The backline, Bubinator and Chicken have been holding hands together in terms of causing doom to the Mountain View squad. Milky doesn't have the charge, but they've got the percentage. They've got the players. So what? PD goes down. This is their chance to sweep it.
Breaking out the brooms, looking to get in toward playing Penn Manor here in a little bit's time as we look forward to going to Mount Aloysius. But Mountain View now have to dig deep. They've been able to capture the point, but they've got to find a way to win a couple fights here in a row, and it has been a little bit of a problem here for them, especially when South Fayette has the better ult economy.
They've got everything going their way. They've got the 2 maps already, and they're going to charge for victory. Sly will escape out to the back lines, and it's already a little bit of a contest. Forces them to move right towards where they want them. Sly's building up. 77%. Looks for the cut down on the air. Gets the perfect reflect. That's going to be Vegito without the machine gun mode, but Milky dies first. Kitsune rush. Bubba just looking to do their damage, but it's the Eagles that are winning this fight. 3 are dead already, and PD doesn't decide to invest the tire. Nano Bastion, that's all we gotta say.
And sometimes this is how those great heroes are made. When your backs are completely against the wall, we've seen Mountain View now making one heck of a stand. They've got to win one more battle here, most likely, to put a tick on the board and look to power back in this one. Milky not ready to pressure forward yet. PD has that rip tire, though, and that can be a devastating ult. Here it comes.
Tire gets one. Anti's gonna connect, but PD's got a double. Here comes the overtop annihilation of the South Fayette line. The overtime is done. Mountain View gets their hill, and we fight on.
Not ready to go silently into the night, and now Echo will find PD once more. All of a sudden, Mountain View finding something that's working for them, and so hopefully they can continue to build off of this momentum, this confidence here as they work toward this next point. 15 seconds until it unlocks. Mountain View is going to have to play flawlessly here for the remainder of this one.
They don't have any ultimates to work with. The good news, this next hill they can use to try and fight their way back, to try and find their way in towards this series. And I think Vegito is just not going for anything cute anymore. Just straight up damage here as the Lucio trying to send them off the edge will actually lose their life. Chicken dies first as South Fayette down a member, but they grab the hill.
They grab the hill for the time being, looking to pad that early percentage as Sly does find mid here. Now dangerously low. Sly is going to fall to Heimdall as Echo got PD here as well. And all of a sudden, it seems like Echo's got everybody's number dashing through the sky. He finds a two-piece and he's looking to chase Chicken down.
Just use the coverage that Suravasa gives to explode onto the backline. Milky, the only one with an ultimate up and available. Now 2 checks up for South Fayette. They're very close to having a full kit of ultimates, but Esports 2 wants to ruin their day with a flank that takes down PD.
Echo again finding some early picks here to give them that player advantage. They find themselves up on top and about to tie it up here on Flashpoint as well. You take a look at the ult economy. It's fairly equal here for both of these teams. Maybe slightly favored of South Fayette as the other two are a little bit closer, but Echo has been making big money moves. He finds a pick onto the support and continues to rain down.
Pushing, trying to find their second. The blade is going to be the duplication here for Esports 2. Slice and dice everybody in between. Sly is finding a way to duel back, but no. Heimdall cuts them down, nanoing the Zarya once again, and Raven Folly has been on point with these ultimates. Mountain View have got control.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to get back in time as well. They're just going to find be at risk of staggering out. Much like that, we saw Chicken trying to dash in there and extend that time, and even using the sound barrier as well. So they drop an ult for nothing, and now Echo continues to pick on him a bit here. Mountain View, a real opportunity to turn it around here on Flashpoint.
Chicken uses the ultimate so they can swap up, and absolutely Mountain View have been just in the driver's seat. You talk about someone like Esports 2 that has got 16 kills so far through just this map, a 2.0 solid kill death, and they're looking to try and finish off the reverse sweep, not only in this map, but start the reverse sweep in this series. The 21st seed has still got some fight in them.
Fighting tooth and nail, that's what we absolutely love to see from all of the schools here across PIEA. And again, you take a look at the ult economy, it's fairly equal once more. 3 ults on deck here for both of these squads, but it's Mountain View who has the early point capture and looks to pad that percentage. Sly's gonna fall, the Riptire does come down, it's looking, it'll find one, it's Vegeta who goes down.
An interesting little trade-up of DPSs, but PD has just found the follow-up angle. That's going to be 2 there coming through. Bubanator gets their man as well, and it's going to be some percentage built up for the Eagles. 40 to be exact. South Fayette, even though they've dropped back-to-back hills, it is going to be the chance to work their way into the victory.
Yeah, I mean, they turn that around. They take that point with only 1 ult from PD, so they still have a couple to work with here as well. But same could be said for Mountain View, and if Vegito and Heimdall compare their ults together, they could come up with a huge play here.
It is going to be the gravity ripping them dead. The big old form change is going to be one that takes 2 and forces South Fayette off of this point. Mountain View, though, are now lacking in the ultimates. Esports 2, the closest one to it.
I'm so old I can almost see into the future at this point. I knew it was coming. They combine the ults. They take the point back, and Heimdall will find PD early here as well. So South Fayette, they've got a couple ults to work with. They're going to have to expend them on this next fight as well, because it's really single fight territory for them if they want to take it away from Mountain View. And then they're going to have to win an additional battle after that as well if they want to keep it.
Right there in front of them, though, with that burst, that bubble's going to be popped very quickly. Immortality Field dropped forward, and PD takes down Vegito. It's nano time. Oh, PD just rips through pretty much everything in front of them, and overtime is not just there yet. South Fayette, what a fight.
PD off the Junkrat onto the Soldier has some huge pickups there as well. Sly has made their way onto Tracer here. Now it is Echo who has the ult on deck, the only one at the moment, and they've gotten themselves to 99%. They've got to win one more fight, and Milky goes down.
Was that full charge, but it doesn't matter. PD leads the lobby in kills, and the window from Chicken must be the victor. We're going 99 to 99, but the anti catches him. Chicken is dead, and Heimdall and crew have got the burst on this laser as PD dives into the backline, dies. The pulse bomb from Sly is enough. This Tracer has to survive, and Bubbanator is dead. The overtime continues to swap hands, but it looks like Mountain Views have got it. They finally hold the line. They take down the Tracer. Chicken walking in to refresh it as well, but you're running out of time on South Fayette's way.
I mean, they continue to stagger in. They continue to light the overtime fuse, but eventually they are knocked off the point. South Fayette up 2-0 in Flashpoint. Mountain View takes 3 points in a row to extend the longevity of the series once more. And your play of the game comes from Sly.
Take a second look at the Genji Masterclass. It was just combined with a perfect ultimate from the Zarya, and able to slice, dice, pick up a double kill, but more importantly, reset and knowing when to defend. I feel like as much as we see just perfection on a lot of Genji plays, it's not necessarily about who you kill, but how long you survive, how long you can stray away that vision. And honestly, for South Fayette, still up 2-1, they've got the advantage, but now Mountain View, they've got the confidence to start this reverse sweep.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to start it than reverse sweeping your way through Flashpoint, and all of a sudden you feel like that momentum shifts in your favor. The one nice point, I think, for South Fayette is now they get to decide not only the mode, but the map at which we're heading to next. So maybe a strong comfortability pick coming out for them, but Mountain View has showed that they can compete with the best of them here. That will be the first map that South Fayette has lost all season and postseason. So apparently if there's a team to beat them, it could be Mountain View.
I mean, you talk about what a run. You know the number 1 seed is already out there. There are a lot of tough teams still in this bracket, but I mean, just with having a lower seeding for both these two teams, I mean, for Mountain View, the regular low seeding, but for South Fayette, they kind of missed that full semester, so played towards their fullest ability, but didn't earn as much championship points as the rest of the teams were accruing. And it just seems like both really want it more than anything. Those fights absolutely close, and that final hill was 99 to 99. That could have been the end of Mountain View season right there.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to the wire. Mountain View had to win a couple fights in a row as well. They did a good job of staggering out those ults. And honestly, Heimdall, I think, was also a big difference maker in that front line there. And so we got to see some Zarya on Zarya action as well. But it was Mountain View who came out on top. So we'll have to wait to see exactly where South Fayette decides to take us next.
They get the choice. Of course, Flashpoint is out of the mix for now, and of course, Hybrid and Control already selected. So really, there is one where you could go back to that neutral advantage, the push, the back and forth. And boy, would I love to see a push between these two teams, the snowballing that you can do, the back and forth. But you still got to be a little bit careful if you are Mountain View. You've trained your entire season for this, but if you happen to lose one of the next 2 maps, it is still the end of the series for you.
Yeah, that's the tough part. You know, you talk about all these pressures, and for these young students to be able to deal with these pressures at such a young early age is refreshing to see here. And so Mountain View backs against the wall. We're going to head back on toward Havana, Cuba here for Escort. We know how tough this first initial push can be. We saw it from two very talented teams a little bit ago, but it was where Penn Manor was able to close it out as well. Can South Fayette do the same? I think that is going to be the big question.
It's a big question mark, and how you answer it is going to be even bigger of a question in and of itself. For Havana, it's an interesting one, a pretty beautiful map overall, but like you said, aiding in towards those longer sight lines, which sometimes aid in some more trickery plays, some behind the back flank angles, and that's something with two teams that have been playing Genjis, that have been playing some of the more divier stuff all game long, and specifically for Chicken, I feel like they've been going kind of glass cannon Lucio, just like, I'm either going to get a boop on your backline or I'm going to die try.
Yeah, he's been pretty fearless, and at times it's worked out, but at times it has hurt them a little bit. So I think, you know, it's always it's important to know when that right and wrong time is. Obviously, we all make some mistakes, but I mean, they've been playing well as a whole here. You know, that's why they're up 2-1 in this series. We did see some minor mistakes that allowed Mountain View back in that last one, and Mountain View was really able to take those mistakes and run a mile with it. So we'll see if they allow some of that confidence maybe to spill over here into matchup number 4 on Havana and see if they can extend this series all the way to that best of 5.
And honestly, I mean, I always like to say no team is ever perfect. You look at even the professional teams, they're going to make tens to hundreds of mistakes in a professional game, but it's who can reverse those mistakes, who can find those openings and kind of limit the mistakes of their own team to try and find those perfect openings to break open a series. And for Mountain View, I feel like after one, it's kind of a fluke. You're like, okay, we're kind of coming back in the series. The reverse sweep isn't totally real yet, but after 2, it feels like you've gained all momentum. So for South Fayette, if you want to win the series, I feel like it's got to be right here in map number 4.
Yeah, you know, I think Flashpoint's almost a good revision of that, because you see, you know, you win one, yeah, all of a sudden you're back in it, but you get 2 in a row, and now all of that confidence, that momentum is in your corner. And a lot of times, you know, we talk about how tough that reverse sweep is, but if you're able to extend it to that final game and you win the one right before it, you just have that momentum, that confidence. Everything's feeling good in your corner. And we do see a lot of those teams pressure on to go on and then win and get that upset. But South Fayette, this is the first map that they've dropped all year, all season long here. And so, you know, we are all human. We all make mistakes at times. So the fact that it took them this long to drop a map, I think shows how good they are. So I expect them to kind of bounce out with a big fierceness in this next one.
Well, let's see it. South Fayette has a chance to still close out the series here. Mountain View, a chance to switch things up as we move to Havana, our full payload mode here. And for South Fayette, they are starting on the attacking side because, well, Mountain View, they got to choose. They choose defense.
Yeah, and I do believe our team names are a bit backwards up there, so we need to get those swapped around in just a second for you guys. We do apologize, but that is Sly, PD, Milky, Chicken, and Bubbinators from South Fayette there on the blue side. Mountain View, of course, MVD. Esports, Ash coming out. Vegito back on the Bastion. Heimdall was liking that Zarya, so going to stick with that. Mitwagon, though, off the Brigette and on to the Ana here.
And interestingly enough, it'll be Mountain View reversal, because like you said, even though the overlay was swapped, my mind was also swapped. So they're actually choosing to start on the attacking side here, making the choice to go aggressive and play with red, looking for blood, looking to send us to all 5.
We'll see if they can do that. The wall is going to fall. They'll begin to pressure that payload here as well. We saw some teams kind of getting early contention, but we have seen some kind of hang back toward this first corner. Milky wasted no time, and he's back on that Doomfist here as well.
I love it. I mean, really just a backline disruptor. Sly's gonna find the long range angle here, and it's Raven Folly. That's the Mercy. That means no res in the back pocket to res who was ever dying. And it is gonna be a payload pushed up a little bit, but this PD Sly combination is just not giving the Eagles any sort of space.
Yeah, I mean, PD has been doing really well on this Soldier. I know they're great on the Junkrat, but even better now on this Soldier. Sly finding these shots from a distance. We talked about how good Widow can be here. Now, Raven gets a nice res onto Heimdall. They have that close spawn, so it's not as detrimental. Unfortunately, PD and crew are just continuing to pick them off at a distance.
I think the tougher thing is you've got the self-healing zone from the side of PD. It's already an infra site popped out, and that's just going to make it so much harder as Esports 2, first to be chunked down, Sly's ready to go. Mountain View really can't engage until this ultimate expires.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing is PD's kind of hanging out up there with Sly, dropping that self-heal. They're both able to kind of step in that ring there as well, and it takes a little bit of that pressure off of some of your supports here. Chicken, Bubba now onto the Juno. We saw a lot of the Kariko, but opting to go with the Juno. I think that speed boost, that additional help there can be something that a lot of teams have enjoyed. You combine that with a Lucio, and all of a sudden you're incredibly quick.
Vegeta's gonna get the fist work to take down Sly, and Mountain View have got an early opener here. Of course, with that Juno on South Fayette, you talked about the speed, but also the damage. It can aid in the mid to long range boost that it allows you to fight with, and Heimdall is just pushed all the way up here. That speed ring placed sideways on the pillar to engage from Milky, while also allowing the team behind it to get a push forward as well. This payload is just trucking its way forward.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, and that has been the pace right now of Mountain View. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Milky swap toward that Zarya, a phenomenal counter against D.Va, but right now D.Va looks to chase him down, gonna find Sly, Raven, and Ash popping the ults here. Mitwagon looking for some action here as well. They're expending a lot of ultimates to capture this point, but at least they do capture it.
They'll get forward, they'll get that extra time, and into the distillery they go. Heimdall still has a bomb if they want to try and blow it up, but Milky just 1% away from their ultimate will get taken down as Sly finds the backline before PD drops. So only the Genji is not going to be as consistent a damage as you want, but like we said, those Juno rockets are insane to bolster your overall damage profile.
They're going to at least get rid of D.Va here, and Milky does have that ult, so most likely going to try to use that here relatively soon. But honestly, I think that pick for Zarya would be great against this D.Va here. So maybe wanting to hang on a bit longer because they do have that ult. They've got Juno and the sound barrier here as well. But MVSD, excuse me, continues to pepper in these shots from that Ash, waiting, just kind of building up toward Bob. That 6-man is always nice to have on the field.
Hey, I'm not turning down an extra player to fight out on the field. The mech is going to be the first to be destroyed. That kind of 6-man will only allow the baby D.Va to fight their way on back. The Meteor Strike is just waiting out the time. That's going to be a perfect delay of the Mountain View players. They'll re-engage on this fight with 2 ultimates, but South Fayette and Chicken has found a double kill as Milky extends for the extra.
Yeah, chasing all the way up there and finding those staggers are great. It's going to buy an additional 10-12 seconds for him here as well. And I mean, we saw 4 minutes plus at that checkpoint. They were making some great time, but all of a sudden, South Fayette beginning to lay out some of these speed bumps here in the distillery.
They are sending forward, and it looks like the bomb is not really going to slow down this South Fayette offense. They don't use any ultimates. They don't pull the trigger just yet. They've got this orbital laser that just means go, that can just help them out in their team fight. But Bubinator's rockets again take down Vegito. Chicken gets the fisticuff work and takes down their supportal combat on the other side, and it is a full team fight win already. Heimdall, it is just you versus 5. It's time to back up to the team.
Yeah, making that switch over toward Roadhog. Unfortunately, the team was just a little bit staggered here, so they need to regroup. Mitt back on toward the Brigette. We see Raven now over to the Ana off of the Mercy. So maybe make it a couple swaps here to see if it does help them out a bit. They have the ult here in the hands of Vegito, and Bob is dangerously close to coming out on the battlefield here as well.
Sly is just waiting with patience, staring them down, seeing if they can bait anybody in. Vegito is, they bite on the worm and are reeled exactly into where the Lions chomp them down. Still attack visor up and available as Sly goes down, so Genji for Genji here, but South Fayette are really okay. They've burned down 3 minutes at this position.
Yeah, and honestly, they've pushed that payload back just a bit from where it was over time here, and so that contention still comes in. Vegito with the blade, dangerously low, but he finds Chicken, looking for another as PD continues to rain down the shots, but Dynamite goes boom, and PD finds impending doom here as he's put into the dirt, and for what it's worth, Mountain View making another big stand here. They're finding that pressure, but they've still got some room to go, and only 45 seconds to do it.
Gotta be probably another back-to-back team fight win if they want to move themselves into a successful position. Of course, this is just the first half of this overall map. South Fayette will get their day in the sun to try and push towards the victory. A hook missed, that one hits the wall. Milky finds Vegito, and here comes the man, Doomfist, sending the knuckles right to the face. With some duels, the rally will be sent to the garbage as Sly slices down everybody, and the hook only gets one back before Heimdall is gonna be reserved back to the rest of the team.
And the problem is it's such a far walk now. The only way they get back is if they stagger and trickle in, and even then it might be too little too late. Time will expire. South Fayette, a very strong stand here in the distillery, and now they have a real opportunity to close it out and punch their ticket in toward the land.
Well, there's one thing for certain. We will not have a tie. We will not go to overtime. It is either South Fayette, a series victorious off a good offensive side push, or Mountain View. Can they hold the line, especially on that first checkpoint? If you can delay the time, maybe, just maybe, you could send us to all 5 maps. And Hot Sauce, we couldn't have asked for a better series.
Yeah, we can ask for a better day. Honestly, both of these series have been phenomenal for Mountain View, though. It is that final test here if they want to extend this series just a bit more. And they had 4+ minutes after they unlocked that first checkpoint. Breaking into the distillery, South Fayette was struggling just a little bit, but they were able to lock it down in that close quarter combat area. So I think you're absolutely right. Mountain View is going to have to find a way to really stifle this initial push here from South Fayette.
It's gotta be right now. It's all in front of you. One defensive side to sum up your season for the Eagles. They're going to go with, again, a little bit long range of a composition, but it's one that's going to be prone to those widow shots. If Vegito and Esports 2 are not careful, they could lose their lives real early, and that snowball could give the Lions everything they need. Melky as well has just been phenomenal on this Doomfist. One backline disruption with that spawn advantage, again, could just be the push that gives the Lions a spot in the semis.
PIEA is off the soldier for the time being, heading over toward the snipes of Widow. Sly waiting patiently here for the time being. Mountain View looking to take a page from the book here and use this high ground to their advantage. Got to be careful of the snipes from PIEA.
It's just like you're predicting everything here today. Sees the shot before it even happens. Heimdall able to get the headshot in their own right back on PD. All right, I see the snipes going back and forth with the Orisa duel on towards that. High ground play. Milky instead is just going to be burning down, waiting for the reinforcements of the team.
Yeah, smart play here. Just allow everybody to kind of get back into a great position. You've got a nice little push to start things off, but you got to get around this corner and look to solidify that checkpoint here. Vegito in a lot of trouble up top, trying to decide who to melt down. We'll find one as Heimdall finds Sly here as well. Milky was able to get Raven. PD now a snipe, and his plaid stripes in the kill feed once more.
Milky, though, still alive here to continue the stripes going their way. That's a double kill with control of the payload. South Fayette do have to be a little bit careful here, as there's going to be another Mountain View fight before they hit this first checkpoint. But just looking at himself, admiring the work of art they've put out for this series.
Yeah, look at Sly here in a very advantageous position, looking for a cheeky play. PD's going to draw a lot of attention here from these snipes. Sly looking to drop in toward that back line here as well. And now maybe a 1v1 against the Cassidy, and it is Cassidy who's dangerously low. Sly will jump on him, find the attack, and now South Fayette looking to find the checkpoint.
They're so close. It's going to be Sly kind of re-engaging on this right side, but because you've lost Milky, you need to find a pick. They use the speed ring to kind of boost in and out. Vegito's going to be sliced down to half, but not before taking down Bubinator. Reflected right back into them, and then Sly working off of the dynamite burn. Huge stuff there. Mountain View utilizing the rally to get themselves back in the fight, and with 2 meters to go, they hold the line again.
Crazy goal line stand here from Mountain View, and all of a sudden things become that much more feasible. You start to wonder, can they pull off this crazy upset? They've got a couple ultimates to work with here as well. South Fayette about in a similar position. That 2 meters now becoming 5 and slowly trickling backwards.
Milky goes in, Meteor Strike, Sound Barrier only connects onto 3 players. Milky not going to be involved in that health advantage. Esports 2 dies, and the Blade is good enough for a double kill. PD gets involved as well. 4 different players grab a kill, and the Lions earn themselves checkpoint 1.
Oh, they get checkpoint 1. It is a little bit slower than Mountain View. Remember, Mountain View had a little more than 4 minutes at this point. So South Fayette about 30 seconds or so behind where they were, but an opportunity still to make that push just a bit further. This is where South Fayette was able to stall out Mountain View. Can Mountain View do something similar?
Some good long-range stars are going to connect. Here's a huge kill that could come through. Esports 2 is down. PD is the trade. 1 for 1 on the DPS. Heimdall has the ultimate alongside Raven. That nano, who do they spend it on? But Sly is just up in their face, pushing them back.
Now the reflect comes in, now the dash, he's done a ton of damage, but luckily there's enough support in there to keep everybody up in shape. They've got 3 ults, including this Terra Surge, and a real opportunity here for Mountain View to begin to shut South Fayette down.
This is just a huge frontline team fight here. Sly takes down Esports 2 again, and Chicken is ready to go. Orbital Laser means fight, and fight they will. Is there even a chance to get back? It's 2 down to nothing. South Fayette have punched their tickets.
South Fayette does it. Mountain View putting up a hell of a fight here, though, to bring it back. Unfortunately, not quite enough. South Fayette has punched their ticket in and will be taking on Penn Manor. This one, the play of the game, again, over to Milky.
Very deserved, and it's one that decided everything, it seemed like. The deflect at the perfect moment there, puts up the blockers and re-engages. It might only be a double kill, but that just goes to show you how well-rounded South Fayette has been. Every single one of these plays of the game, it's only like a max 2 or 3 kills as the rest of the team works it out perfectly. And this Lions team stays undefeated, moves on to play Penn Manor in the semifinals on Saturday.
Well, they do show that they are human. For the first time all season, they drop a map. So again, Mountain View should hold their heads high. They had a phenomenal season, a great postseason run, and the only team so far to be able to take a game away from South Fayette. So we congratulate them on a job well done this season. We look forward to seeing what they bring back here for the next seasons to come as well. But we got to tip our hats and congratulate South Fayette as they punch their ticket in toward Mount Aloysius, and we certainly look forward to meeting them in person.
They're going to be a fun squad to see with all that energy and swap ups, and that just makes me even more hype. We've got an 8 versus 20 seed matchup of just 2 very, very confident teams. And, you know, on the other side, to even make it, I think, towards these quarterfinals is just a testament, especially for a 21 seed like Mountain View. The Eagles have a lot of good stuff cooking up there, and they are a team that, well, I'm going to be really excited to see back next year.
Absolutely. We love all the teams here at PIEA. As we said before, there's just so much talent littered across so many different wonderful schools here, and it's just an honor to be a part of bringing and showcasing all the young talent for everybody watching at home. So we certainly appreciate you guys, but as Lama said, I mean, it's not really, it hasn't been a short day, honestly. These best of fives went a little bit longer than I expected as well, but I mean, we've got action for the week to come as well. Rocket League tomorrow, Valorant on Wednesday, Super Smash Brothers on Thursdays, but it's hard to contain the excitement, man. I'm so excited for the land to come.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, we've got so many teams fighting for trophies. There's also Spring Grove and CB South who are still fighting on our last remaining channel that is live for that last spot in the semifinals for the Division 1 bracket. That's also a good note. It's not just going to be the Division 1 brackets. We're going to be seeing Division 1, 2, and 3 all finalized into those state championships on that weekend. So book your tickets there. Make sure you say hi when we are, and we've still got a full schedule for the week.
As always, guys, we certainly appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with us here today. Before we get going, we'd like to take a moment to thank everybody behind the scenes here at PIEA and TEC, including our main man, Nick, our eye on the sky, Nick, for not only producing the show, but doing all of that wonderful observing that you get to see. Just not just the POVs, but the wonderful aerial drone settings of all the wonderful maps we had here today. And as always, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We hope to see you back here tomorrow around the same time for some Rocket League action. That legend to my digital left is Llama77. My name is Hot Sauce. You guys have been amazing. Take care and have a wonderful evening.
Stars explode through blinding lights. Victories found in the fight. I'm on top, my soul ignites. Life's a game, we learn the rules. Twist and turn like misfit fools. Through the pain we break the chains. Find the win through loss and gains. I've got a heart that's never quitting. In this race I'm always sprinting. Feel the power, victory sings. Born to conquer, spread my wings. Castles built on hope's foundation. Rivers run with pure elation. Through the storm I'll find my way. Triumph shines like break of day. Tides may turn, but I remain.
South needs to be able to contest this here, but it looks like this is going to be the final fight for it now. They are going to get one final respawn off, but it's only as far as the couch as they fall first in the firing line. Braden and FaZe Rock, though, find one apiece either as a response in each succession, backed up by Artie. Psyduck, though, for one in response. FaZe Rock does take out Babby Play, but the all-important member that is Psyduck that has been dominating the pace and the tempo has been taken out, and there goes the rest of the team with it. This bot is on its way back round the outside queue, and we might not be over and said and done for just yet.
Yeah, definitely going to be seeing CB South here trying to pull off their own version of going the distance. This is what I was talking about. The beauty of push. Spring Grove was on the doorstep. Now all of a sudden, CB South does have a chance to try and push back just a little bit. The Bob not going to be successful. Psyduck trying to find a way around the corner, going to be able to do so forward with the rest of the squad here as well, trying to find a pick onto the back line, and while being unsuccessful in that regard, it's still pushing this CB South squad back, and all of a sudden they're rounding the corner and they have visuals on the finish line again. Cage fight available as well.
The one shining grace from the CB South squad is that it is Plaid. Stripes in the kill feed momentarily for the majority of the action, 1-for-1 so far, as the rest of the squad is able to play their life well too. Sustain not on their favor though, as Sleepy Monkey does take down Braden, and closer to that final checkpoint, the bot will crawl. Sleepy Monkey onto Braden, gets back as FaZe Rock does take out Wiggly Monkey. Psyduck and Psycho Toes come together in response as the couch and Artie fall down. There goes FaZe Rock and Psycho Toes is back. Sleepy Monkey takes out Friendship, Braden is down, and ladies and gentlemen, that is your game. Spring Grove take it 3-1.
Spring Grove were able to end up completing the push. You got to give it up to CB South. They came in, they were able to meet with some resistance, but at the end of the day, the Rockets just too strong. And you can see on this play of the game, part of it in due to the fact that Psyduck playing so aggressive. This was that 5K from earlier that really helped them push all the way to the doorstep.
I mean, we spoke about what it would take from CB South to push themselves to a potential map 5. What we didn't talk about was that Spring Grove would have it in them to react and respond that quickly. There was a disgusting turnaround of the tempo, all off of one initial moment of play and success from Psyduck. Like you said, it's timing. And sometimes it's not always about throwing everything at it straight off the mark. The one amazing major macro play for me where Spring Grove outplayed CB South here. The bot got pushed to that initial milestone in favor of CB South, and Spring Grove chose not to contest it. They waited until just after it had been locked in. They flooded that bot and matched, mirrored, and bettered that initial push immediately in response.
Well, that does secure up as far as our one semifinal matchup that will be going on at Mount Aloysius here in about 2.5 weeks. Carlisle, who won our first series of the day over here on the Allegheny channel, will be squaring off against Spring Grove. The 2 versus the 3 seed. I guess kind of expected when you look at the way that the bracket breaks down. On the other side of the bracket, however, complete pandemonium. It's going to be the 8 seed versus the 20 seed going into the playoffs as Penn Manor will be squaring off against South Fayette. I do got to say, that does feel like it gives the nod to either the teams coming from this side of the bracket a little bit of motivation, feeling like as long as they're able to break out the dub in their semifinal matchup, they should be favored in that grand finals matchup as well. So both these two teams that we've seen, at least over on the Allegheny channel today, I would assume going to be really trying to lock in and take home that semifinals.
And as that does close out the action for the day, it does leave me with a question in my mind, though. I'm not sure, given how well CB South put a little bit of a dent in the Spring Grove performance, that I'd like to be on this side of the bracket. 2 underdogs with 2 exceptional upsets in their quarterfinals performance. That's a dark horse for me. That's a curse in somebody's superstitious mind, and that could be the one to catch the ankles of a team sprinting towards a final that they think might be more guaranteed than is necessarily the match that they're actually intended for. That's the beauty of competition in esports, though, baby. We get to look forward to that in the future. And as always, Q, I am thoroughly grateful to be able to join you here on the desk to be able to yap all about it.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to be able to get back on the desk with you one more time here. We've got more action through the rest of the week as we have more quarterfinals action across all of our titles. So we've got Rocket League tomorrow, Valorant on Wednesday, and then we'll be wrapping up the last little bit of our playoffs for Super Smash Brothers on Thursday as well. Make sure you guys are keeping an eye out over on social medias as well as over on the YouTube as we got more content coming y'all's way than ever before over here on PIEA. And Cracked Wisdom and I, we really do have the easiest job. We get to show up, we get excited about pixels. We got to make sure we're giving a big shout out to our producers really across all of our channels, but especially over here on the Allegheny channel here today, Echo 2.0, who is indeed better than Echo 1.0. Got to give a big shout out to that, pressing all the buttons in the background, giving us all the great scopes, the great views for all of our action here today. Make sure you hit that follow button down below for that Allegheny channel so we can catch you back for more action throughout the rest of the week. Until we do get to catch y'all back for that next one, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love hard. All right, y'all, that's Cracked. I'm Q. For the rest of the crew from the front to the back, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace.